What's going on, everybody? Ralph Lucchese here in the podcast room. Back in the studio today, accomplished day trader, owner of both Tradecaster.com, Dekmar Trades. Sean is widely known for his deep expertise in the trading world, but what truly sets him apart is his dedication to educating and empowering other traders, especially on his platform. He's built a community of wealth that helps traders navigate in volatile markets, and he's become especially well known for his innovative small account challenge. Every year when this goes through, he comes to the studio and gives me the opportunity to put him through an interview process. Sean Dekmar, welcome back to the podcast room. Welcome back to the studio.
Here we go. I am so excited. I got fired up to be here, Ralph.
A little bit, man. A little bit different. I want to try to set this. I want to try to differentiate this one from the other interviews in the past, because I feel the other ones we've done have always, who you are and what got you into trading. I think now people that are listening to this know who Sean Dekmar is and how you got to where you were. And if you're not, just listen to the other episodes. His journey is truly inspiring. I do want to keep this conversation solely on your small account challenge. I've been following it for, I'm going to say even longer before we've been doing these interviews. I've been following it since you started doing it, I think, back in 2018, 2019, when you were just small and doing it on your own. Had the opportunity of watch you taking 4,000, 80,000, just incredible growth to watch and witness during the small account challenge. So to kind of start off this conversation about your challenge, and I wrote down questions. I don't typically do this, but I think that it warrants it at this point. So a lot of traders are familiar with larger portfolios, especially day traders, right? They don't necessarily do penny stocks. They might go for blue chips, so on and so forth. But the idea of growing a small account presents its own set of unique challenges. So could you walk us through what your small account challenge is and how you approach structuring it for your viewers?
Yeah, of course. So the big thing I want to get out here is the small account challenge. Why I think people love it so much is just because it's so relatable. When we think about day traders and we think about people with $100,000 accounts and $500,000 accounts, the things that we really see in social media, it's hard to relate to that as a normal person, especially someone who wants to get into stock trading. When I first started stock trading, when I was 18 years old, 19 years old, sure, we see the nice cars and we see, again, the big houses and we see all the expensive trips. And it's like, okay, how do I make that money? Well, it's easy when you have $1 million. Let's think about it. The average investor tries to get a 10% return every single year. That's usually what the S&P 500 gives. Over the last 2 years, it's been a little crazy. We've been getting like 17% returns. But if we actually break this down math-wise, if I have $1 million account, we get a 10% return, that's $100,000. It's very simple to be a successful trader, a successful investor once you cross over that $1 million mark, because you can really just throw your money into the S&P 500 or some other large ETFs like, Vanguard ETFs, VOO, and just be able to sit back and be able to collect. But that's not what the average person has. The average person is going to be sitting with around $5,000, maybe $2,000. Maybe if you're lucky enough, you got $10,000, $15,000 as exposure that you could go ahead and be able to say, hey, I want to be able to learn how to stock trade. The small account is all about going back to our roots, going back to where we started, going back to the place where we said, can we be able to do this again? Because I've been in the game for 10, 11 years now. It's not an easy thing to be able to grow a small account. I don't care how good you are. There is going to be times that you are going to be extremely successful at it, and there's going to be times that you miss on it. It would be like going to an NFL quarterback, putting a water bottle on a bench, let's say 40 yards away, and saying, hit that water bottle. Sure, they're going to have a great chance of hitting that water bottle, but there's going to be times that they may not be as successful with it, but they have the odds of being able to grow it. So the thing that I always talk about in stock trading is I want to set you up to have the odds to be successful, the odds in your favor that you are going to win, the odds that if you do this, you will be able to continuously grow. So people always ask, how many small account challenges have I done? How have I been able to do with these small accounts throughout time? What's my track record? Well, really what it all comes on down to is I think about my first small account ever. My first small account ever wasn't a challenge. My small account ever was me starting my trading career when I started with $2,300. Now, I think back, what was I doing right? What did I do wrong there? Now, I will figure out right here, when I first started stock trading, I didn't have much money whatsoever at all. Barely anything. $2,300, that's not really much to get involved into the markets. Now, what I'm about to say right now, 99% of people are going to ignore. but I will tell you this is what's going to make you successful. If I told you the answer on how to be successful in the stock market and you heard this right now, you are still going to blatantly ignore it. It's what blows my mind because me working with thousands of traders every single day, they still do not comprehend this. If you want to be successful in the stock market, first thing that you need to do is you need to paper trade. Now, so many people hate that word, paper trade, because they say, oh, I don't have the feelings when I have paper trading. I don't have the emotion when I have paper trading. I don't have the adrenaline when I have paper trading. Paper trade is to build experience. It's to be able to give you education. It's supposed to be able to have you look at a chart and you say, that's a pattern now. That's support. That's resistance. I know those indicators. I, again, have seen this before. I don't care if it gives you that emotion. It's just supposed to put you and immersify you into the markets. So now you are, again, basically understanding what's going on. We don't just go straight into a fighter jet and expect to be able to fly. We go into the simulator at first. We don't go straight into a spaceship and say, oh yeah, I'm good. You go into the simulator first. You are going to fail when you first start stock trading. Maybe the worst motivational speech I ever gave right there. But you are going to be absolutely awful when you first start stock trading. Just like if you said, hey, Sean, start speaking German, start speaking Spanish. I'm not good with it. You know why? Because I don't practice ever. So why would we expect to be great at something that we've never done before? So I'm trying to set you up for success. I'm trying to set you up to be a successful stock trading paper trade for 3 months in a row. That doesn't mean just do January, February, March. It means win for 3 months in a row. Have success for 3 months. And if you mess up a month, you're back to zero. People hate this. They say, man, Sean, I paper trade for 2 weeks. I paper trade for a month. I paper trade for 3 months, but you never won. The biggest email I get all the time is I say, hey guys, watch some lessons in the video library, study up in paper trade. They say, hey, I've been trading for 2 to 3 years. I don't need to do that. And I say, oh, well, how much money have you made? And they say, well, I've never actually made any money, but I don't need to do that because I've been trading for 2 to 3 years. That's like basically saying that you want to be a quarterback, but you've been thrown it left-handed for the last 2 to 3 years and you don't have any good form. It's basically like we have to start from scratch here. Just because you've been around the market doesn't mean you're good with it. Doesn't mean you understand principles and fundamentals. Doesn't understand you have technical analysis. You need to actually be able to learn the right way. So if you want to be successful, we go back to nothing. Paper trade for 3 months of success, 3 months in a row of success. And if you mess up 1 month, you're back to zero. Then after that, we start with a little bit of money. Now, again, we're starting to get those flutters. Now we're feeling this is real money. But we're not going from, again, all of a sudden paper trading to now $20,000. We're going from paper trading to maybe a $200 investment, maybe putting 10 shares in, 20 shares in, just allowing ourselves to feel a little bit of that adrenaline. Think about it like this. We walk into the gym. We walk in and we see 3 plates on the bench, 315, someone's repping it on out. Guys, if we never again benched before, even though if we know how to bench, doesn't mean we're going to be able to do it. That's the biggest thing that a lot of people always misconceive in stock trading. They see someone else do it, so they think they can do it. That's not the way it works. That's like, again, watching LeBron James and sitting on your couch eating potato chips and being like, oh, guys, he's an idiot. You know, obviously, we could sit back and say that, but if it was us, that doesn't mean we could be able to do it. We could understand a play. We can understand that he should have dunked there or take that 3 there or did that pass off there. But it's way different understanding it and, again, actually doing it. And that's basically what paper trading is all about. It's about understanding it. Now we're, again, going to apply that and now try to learn how to actually do it. So now when we have a little bit of weight, now, again, we're learning. Then after a few weeks, we add more weight. And then a few more weeks, we add more weight. And over time, we get to 315. Same exact thing when we're stock trading. We start with 20 shares. Then again, over time, we go to 50 shares, 100 shares, 200 shares. I'll tell you right now, if I went all the way from 0 shares to 1,000 shares, 2,000 shares, everything I learned would go out the window. I'd black out. I'd be sitting here saying to myself, like, I have no idea what's about to happen because all of a sudden I have so much adrenaline. I'm so nervous. I don't know what I'm doing left and right. You want to be able to build on up. It doesn't matter what you want to do in life. If you are trying to pass a test, if you're going on a date, if you're trying to start a business, if you're stock trading, if you are confident, you will be successful. Now, if you're confident, it comes from preparation. No one has ever been confident and has been completely unprepared. No one goes on a public speak when you guys are in 12th grade and says, hey, give me a presentation on Western civilizations from 1776, and you didn't study whatsoever, and you walk up knowing that you're going to ace this. No one does that. Everyone sits up there and stutters and says, I have no idea what I'm about to say next. But when you prepare for it, you walk up and you say, hey, this is easy. I know everything there is about, again, Western civilizations of 1776. Same exact thing with stock trading. The fact that I've done this for so long, for the last 10 years, 11 years, the fact that I've gone through the process of not having much money and being able to say, okay, I've gone through the paper trade. I've gone through the small accounts. I've gone to the point where I can feel comfortable being able to trade 2,000, 5,000, 10,000 shares every single day. Now I feel confident with my trades where I'm consistently making money. Everyone wants to be successful. No one wants to put in the work to be successful. Everyone's jealous of, again, you sitting on top of that hill, but no one's jealous of the climb that it takes to get to that hill. Everyone wants to be able to jump in right away and say, let's make money. So the thing when it comes down to actually learning how to be successful in the stock market, you have to be doing that stuff that no one is willing to do. And it does come down to, you can't just follow. You have to understand. You can't just follow every single part of the small account challenge. I am going to live stream it all. I'm going to show you every trade, every entry, every alert. This is not for you to just try to follow along. I want to be able to explain it for an education. I want to be able to explain it to document it. I want to be able to explain it so you can be able to grasp it, truly be able to learn. That's the thing about these small account challenges that I'm doing. They're not for you just to say, okay, this is a get-rich-quick scheme. I'm just going to follow Deck and whatever he does, I'm going to do. Because our entries might be slightly off. And at the end of the day, you might not even understand why you're buying in on these plays. I want to be able to break it on down, live stream it all, be in real time so you could be able to follow it. It's like the same exact thing when you talked about, my best challenge ever. My best small account challenge ever was from $4,000 to $86,000. Live streamed everything, showed every single P&L. It's on my YouTube right now. You can go check it on out. That was a challenge where I really took my time the right way. I did everything back to the basics, fundamentals, technical analysis, started small, and was able to really grow it the best way that I know how. And I think the best way to be able to grow these small accounts is from buying some of these low float breakouts. Over the last 6 years, I've been doing these small account challenges. I have won and I've been successful with 4 of them. 2 of them, I was not successful. Now, I'm again telling you that right now. I'm not going to sit on this podcast and say every single time I do a small account, I win. Because that's just not true. That's not the way it works. That's not how stock trading works. There's going to be times where we can put all the odds in our favor. There could be times where we say we have a great chance of winning. If we want to think about the stock market as a casino like we always do, we want to try to be the house, not the tourist. We want to be the person that's handing out the cards, handing out the dice, not rolling the dice, not receiving the cards. We could be the house and say, hey, you know what? We have every single odd that we could be able to come out on top, but maybe again, if we're playing roulette, it lands on the green. It lands on the 0, the double 0, something random. And you know what? That's part of stock trading. As long as we keep these nice, tight stop losses, as long as we give ourselves a chance to be able to have these odds in our favor, the odds are we will come out on top. But we got to be able to understand every single variable about that. Going back to it, what I've noticed is when I am successful in my small account challenges, it's from following a very strict strategy. One of the strategies are we are not going to do any sort of option trades. Options, when you have a small account, is not the way to grow it. Now, I know there's some people right now saying, I love options, that's all I do. Well, again, that's why you're still on a small account. The thing is, I want to break it down and show you why options are not good for a small account. Now, when you get your account above 10,000, 15,000, 20,000, excellent. Let's go after it. But when you are doing an option trade, there are so many things that you need to get correct. You have to be successful on so many different ways. When we buy shares, a stock is either going to go up or a stock is going to go down. Easy, 50-50. Stock's going up or stock's going down. And if we can obviously guess the correct way, well, then we're going to be making money. If we're on the incorrect side, well, then guess what? We have a stop loss, we get out. Options, we have to pick the right stock, if it's going to go up or down. We have to pick the right expiration. We have to pick the right strike price. We have to face time decay. We have to face implied volatility. We are basically putting every single odd against us just so we have the chance of making maybe a little bit more money. So last year, when I tried to do the small account challenge, and one of the years that I was not successful, it came on down to the fact that I have a little bit of money, and I am basically saying to myself, I have to pick the right stock, the right direction, I have to have the strike price, I have to have the expiration, I have to have implied volatility and time decay all going in my favor. That's so difficult to do, especially when you only have a couple chances to be able to grow it. So when we're actually growing the small account, we want to be able to eliminate all that, eliminate the Greeks, eliminate the negativity, eliminate, again, the areas that we are only going to hurt ourselves. The best way that I've been able to grow a small account before is being able to find hot news on low floats and riding momentum of smaller cap plays. Unfortunately, when you have a small account, it's not like you're investing into NVIDIA. You're not investing into Tesla. You're not investing into Meta. You can throw your money over on those plays and make a 10% return. But again, remember, if we have a $5,000 account and again, 10% goes by over the next 12 months, how much are we making? $50? It's like what's the point here? $500? It's like we're not really making that much money. So the thing is, we want to make sure that we are maximizing our opportunities. It does come down in stock trading. We all know it. Higher risk plays, higher reward, right? We can go with the slow plays, but that's not going to be as much of a reward. We want to try to find that balance. Now, one of the hardest things to be able to do with finding balance is being able to control our emotions. It's not easy to control our emotions, which is why we talked about paper trading first and building up that emotional tolerance. So when we get to, again, this area, this $4,000 account, $5,000 account, we can have the correct strategy. This is how you want to be able to grow your account. I'm going to tell everyone right now, it's what we're going to apply over on October 14th. Number one, news. News is going to lead to people buying. News is going to lead to people running into place. It's almost like a buffet. If we get to the buffet early, we have every single option possible. But what if the buffet closes at 11 o'clock and we show up at 10:30? We say, hey, you got any more crab cakes left? Oh, no, they're not making any more. People already took it. Oh, do we have any more tacos left? No. We're left with a couple pieces of bread and, some leftover fish. It's like, we don't have all the options. The thing is, if you jump into a hot play early, a stock comes out with positive press release, positive phase 3 data and agreement, comes out with cancer treatment success, whatever it may be, you will realize that the majority of stocks that are underneath $25 and the majority of stocks that have lower floats, and when I say lower float, the float is the shares offered to the public. The lower the float, the higher the demand, the bigger the spike. Low float is going to be anything underneath 5 million. Quick little breakdown. 5 million under, stocks can go sky high. 5 million to 15 million, stocks are going to get good movement, maybe not crazy movement, but they'll be solid. Anything above 15 million to about 25 million, expect to see more of an uptrend. Anything above 25 million that's underneath $25, it's going to be a rather slow play. So, breaking it back down here. Hot news. Hot news is going to lead towards big spikes. Hot news comes out 7 o'clock, 7:30, 8 o'clock, 8:30, 9 o'clock. We find the hottest news every single morning. With lowest floats, we now have a reason for buyers to come into it on a stock that has a low supply of shares. And if we are one of the first people in on these plays, that's where we get some of the biggest spikes, biggest rips, and biggest runs. So we are trying to get to that buffet line right when it opens, before the whole crowd gets there. Because yes, in stock trading, it's not me versus you. It's really not, but it is me versus the entire mob. So when I say mob, the majority of buyers, I'm trying to get in before the rest of the people wake up. At 7 o'clock, and I think the majority of stock traders can agree with me. How many times have you ever woken up and you see a stock already up 80%? How many times have you ever woken up and a stock's up 100% already and you're like, oh man, what if I caught that? What if I got in last night? You can buy in pre-market. You can buy at 4 a.m. in the morning. All you have to do is, again, change your entry, do a limit order, and then your destination, put on ARCA. ARCA, A-R-C-A. You can trade from 4 a.m. to 8 p.m. at night. A lot of new traders don't even know this and don't recognize this. So the thing is, you wake up early. I wake up every single morning 6:30. I live in New York time, East Coast. So I wake up every morning at 6:30. Hot news comes out 7 o'clock. I'm watching my news scanner every single morning. I'm using FoxRunner. FoxRunner is probably the best news scanner I have because it literally just highlights the keywords for me and shows me what are all the best news is.
So I don't mean to cut you off. FoxRunner. Can you? I've never heard. I'm well involved, I would say, from a stock perspective. Can you, before going on more on the, do you mind expanding a little bit on a FoxRunner?
So basically, there's all these different news scanners out there. There's all these, there's so much software, right? You can get lost in all the software. Really, all I use is FoxRunner, I use Trade Ideas, and I use my broker Lightspeed. That's it. I use 3 scanners. FoxRunner is going to be for research for my news scanner. Trade Ideas is going to be for my charting, and Lightspeed is going to be for me actually executing trades.
Got it. So FoxRunner is just pulling the news, highlighting articles based on your keywords that you input. I would imagine. Like, do you, from a perspective of a buyer or someone that's doing this, can I go in and create a keyword like positive? Lets you cancer treatment success, like things like that. I can plug that in there, and then anything that comes out would say success, highlight it, so on and so forth.
Correct.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Look into that.
So like literally, this is how you want to look at it. I understand when you are a brand new trader, there's so much news, it's overwhelming. When you're a brand new trader, you don't really even understand, like, how do I find this hot news? Because when I first started, I would wake up every single day. I would go to finviz.com, and at 9:30, it would be like, stocks up 150%.
I remember that.
Yeah, stocks would be up 200%. And I always thought to myself, I was like, man, if I could just find the reason on why these stocks spiked up 200%, 150%, it would just make it easy. So the thing is, once you get a great news scanner and, FoxRunner, what you can do is you type out what press release words that you like. So the best press release words in the entire stock market. You don't even have to read the entire press release. You just have to read the title. That's it. And the title, if you have the words positive, if you have the words primary endpoints, reach primary endpoints, if you have the word agreement, if you have the word partnership, if you have the word treatments, if you have the word acquire or acquired, if you have the word contract, if you have a large investment, these type of words is going to be exciting to investors. These type of words are going to make investors say, wow, okay, they're making progress. We need to take a step back here for a second. We need to remember something. The majority of these plays, the majority of these stocks are not good, credible companies. Now, I'm not talking about just small, tiny penny stocks. I'm talking about probably 8,000 companies on the stock market. And that's kind of crazy to think about, isn't it? Because we know there are 9,500 stocks currently traded on the stock market. 500 are in the S&P 500. We're talking about NVIDIA. We're talking about Tesla. We're talking about Microsoft. We're talking about Facebook. We're talking about the big ones. But a lot of people think just because a stock is on the stock market, it's a good, credible company. For every single person listening right now, go over to Finviz, look at all the top gainers on the day. Click that top gainer, put it to a monthly chart. The moment you put those to the monthly chart, I can almost guarantee, I can't say guarantee because there are some, but I can almost guarantee that over the last 6 years, they have been on a downtrend. We're not talking about Tesla and Microsoft. Those have been on an uptrend. That's why they're one of the best. But you can open up a company, be able to hit a certain threshold and say, hey, I want to be on the stock market. The stock market, those companies are there to try to get you to invest into them. They're trying to raise capital. They want you to be able to invest. The majority of stocks on the stock market are not going to be holding up very well, and they have been fading over time. So the thing is, as an investor, when we see that, oh my goodness, we have FDA approval. Oh my goodness, we have agreement news. Oh, we have a partnership. We have whatever. We get these huge, tremendous spikes. Now, again, we know that if we just set it to the ARCA setting and do a limit order and we find these hot press releases and we use the correct scanners, which is Trade Ideas, Foxrunner, and Lightspeed, we're going to be all set, ready to go. So every single morning, I'm waking up, watching the news scanner. I see a hot news. I know I can jump in right away. Bang, I can make money. Now, that's a little bit easier said than done. I am watching the news scanner. I'm seeing what highlighted keywords are coming on up. I'm again realizing, okay, if I see something at 7:30 a.m., the majority of people, it's kind of crazy, are still sleeping. The majority of people are not going to wake up till 9:30. I know so many people that wake up at 9:20 and they go, all right, stock market opens in 10 minutes, let's go. It'd be like showing up to a football game right before kickoff and just throwing on your cleats right there. You didn't stretch, you didn't warm up, you didn't pass the ball around, you didn't go through your plays, you didn't watch any, whatever it may be. I'm up 3 hours before the stock market even opens, because I just want to be prepared. I want to make sure by every single sense. Now, I believe we talked about this before. If I was in your room at 7:30 in the morning and said, get up, I'll give you $500, you're jumping out of your bed. You're saying, hey, let's go. So the thing is that you must understand is a lot of money is going to be made in pre-market. A lot of money is going to be made right at the start of the day. So if you find stocks that have hot press releases, if you find stocks that have low floats, if you find stocks that have good chart setups, which means they're above their indicators, the 3 most popular indicators to be looking at is going to be the 13 exponential moving average. Some people use the 20 exponential moving average, but 13 is fine. 50-day simple moving average, 200-day moving average. Those, put them on your daily chart right now. Put those 3 on the daily chart. You will clearly be able to see when a stock is considered bullish and when a stock is considered bearish. Underneath all 3 lines, those areas are going to hold up as resistance, aka that's where people are going to sell off those areas. If the stock is already above those areas, then it's going to have room to run until it hits some old past chart history, some old spiking high. So I'm literally trying to give you guys the answers right here. I'm literally trying to break it on down. News comes out 7 o'clock, 7:30, 8 o'clock, 8:30, 9 o'clock. Find the hot press releases by using the right news scanner. I use Foxrunner. Then on top of that, the moment it comes on out, switch your broker over to ARCA, put it on a limit order, click buy, get in. The majority of people are going to be sleeping. Stock's going to go on a big time rip and run. You can make money just like that. When the market opens on up, now everyone says, hey, it's time for me to buy the play. It's already up 200%. And that's why every single time you buy a stock, it usually ends up losing, right? You have to be able to get in on these plays. Every single time that I've grown a small account, when I went from 4,000 to 86,000, when I went my original account from 2,300 all the way up to the hundreds and thousands of millions of dollars that I've been able to make throughout my life, it has been from doing again this way.
So pre-market is
huge.
Is huge.
Now, there will be times that you wake up and you miss the play, and that's okay. You can short it back on down. A lot of plays that are already up 200%, they're going to have a lot of room to be able to fall. Only new traders see stocks that are up 250% on a smaller cap play and say, oh, I can't wait to buy it. The stock has already made its move. Now it's time to say people are going to lock in profits. Shorters are going to target these plays. And now, again, the stock is going to be able to have room to fall. So the other thing that you guys can realize is I get this question a lot. People say, well, you can't short those plays. You can't short microcaps. You can't short stocks that are that are underneath $20, $10, $5. Yes, you can. You just have to use the right brokers. That's it. So many people use Robinhood. So many people use this broker, that broker, E-Trader, TD Ameritrade. Hey, don't get me wrong. They're great brokers, but they don't specialize in shorting. Shorting is betting that a stock is going to fall, betting that a stock is going to drop, making money as it declines. So if you use specialized brokers, that's where, again, you are going to be able to have the options to short them. That's why I use Lightspeed. Lightspeed specializes in shorting. So a lot of people say, well, my broker doesn't allow me to do that. Switch your broker, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
It's not like it's hard.
Yeah. It takes 10 seconds. You literally just take your money out and you put it in there, and then bada boom, I can go ahead and short. So a lot of times growing these small accounts, yes, I am underneath the PDT rule. I am going to be using margin. I will be looking to buy in pre-market, and if I miss these plays, I'm either looking for a breakout to be able to continue if it has strong momentum, or I'm going to short it and bring it back on down.
You trade on margin?
Yes. I mean,
Not all the time. I see what you're saying.
I don't want to be like, straight on margin, because I know, again, a lot of new traders are listening to this.
Yeah.
Very scary, very deadly.
You warrant trading on.
Yes. Be responsible.
You've earned trading on margin. Let's
Yes.
say.
Be responsible.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
You're not betting.
Sean
on
Deckmar says be responsible and do not do any margin that you cannot handle. That's it. Okay.
the disclaimer.
Yes.
We'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah. So the thing is, you have to have a margin account to short. You can't short on a cash account.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we'd be using a margin account. So that is definitely one of the best ways to be able to trade. Now, after we get past $10,000, after we cross over that $15,000 mark, we can start throwing in some options. We have a little bit more wiggle room. We could be able to grow a little bit. But the thing is, a lot of people just don't know strategy. A lot of people say, oh, I want to be a successful stock trader. What's the best stock to buy right now? They're typing in on Google. What's the best stock to buy right now? They head over to Wall Street Bets. What's the best stock to buy right now? And that's how people get caught up in these different stock cults. And that's how people are buying these random plays and just holding them forever, it seems like, saying, oh, it has to go up at some point. No, it just means you don't have the right strategy. There's pre-market strategy, there's swing trading strategy, there's shorting strategy, there's long-term investing strategy, there's dividend strategy. There are so many different ways to be able to make money. You just got to be able to figure out what works for you. Now, you guys could be listening to this right now and saying, man, this guy knows what he's talking about. And I'm going to check this on out. Or you could be saying, oh, this guy's talking so fast. He's a psychopath. I don't want to do anything that he's saying. Hey, that's okay. You would just want to figure out what strategy works best for you.
That's what it is, the strategy aspect. Every strategy doesn't work for everybody. You got to find the one that works for you and the one that you're most comfortable trading in.
Yeah, absolutely.
For the small account challenge for you, I hope I'm not giving too much away. Is there a specific strategy that you focus on for the small account challenge?
I mean, it's going to be more of just what we're talking about now,
like the fundamentals and the press releases and things like that.
Yeah. So one of the biggest things I would say for the small account is to eliminate unnecessary risk. Eliminate this.
Can you expand on that?
Yes. So we want to eliminate the gambles, and everyone knows what those gambles are. If we are a brand new stock trader and we say to ourselves, it's 10 o'clock, it's been 30 minutes, I haven't traded, let me go trade this play.
Oh, I see.
That's a gamble. Why?
Yeah.
Or we could say,
you feel left out, FOMO, things like that.
Exactly. Or we could say, hey, we don't have anything today, brand new start tomorrow, whatever it may be. So you can actually go over towards, type in Sean Deckmar 4,000 to 80,000 or 86,000, whatever. And it goes over every single P&L that I had. And obviously, I'm underneath the margin or underneath the PDT rule. I'm sitting there. I can only trade certain amount times every single day or every single week. The first month, I had 9 trades throughout 30 days, and I was able to double my account. Then the next month, same exact thing, 9 trades. People think that it comes down to I got to trade 9 times a day. I got to trade 20 times a day. I traded 9 times
in a month
throughout 30 days.
That's crazy.
To be able to turn my account from 4,000 to 8,000. Then the next month, 8,000 to 12,000, 12,000 to 24,000, 24,000 to now whatever, 48,000. And now we're above the PDT rule, so we can trade more.
I see.
So the thing is, you must be extremely selective on the trades that you make, especially at the start. Some people say, hey, it's time to start the small account challenge. Let me again pull the trigger. Just because it's game time to start the small account challenge doesn't mean let's pull the trigger in the first 10 seconds. We might not even pull the trigger that day. It comes down to let's wait for a setup that we know we're going to win on. Let's get a bounce play where it has so strong support, the odds are it's going to go up. Let's short at resistance that the odds are it's going to come on down. Let's jump in on a press release where it says the NVIDIA CEO is going to buy and invest into this penny stock where it has so much potential to go up towards the upside. Right? That's what we want to be looking for. But a lot of people will be like, why did you jump in on that stock? And it's like, well, I don't know. I had this gut feeling about it. And, I looked at my dog and he was like wagging his tail. And that's usually a good sign to me. Like so many people have these like weird conspiracies, like superstitions on why they should jump in. They don't work out. The charts do not care about your feelings. Okay. And again, if that's rude, it's like charts don't care about my feelings either. The thing is, they are just going to move the way that they naturally move. They are going to follow these certain setups. They're going to follow these certain strategies every single day.
Wow. I will say it's a lot of information for those that are even watching this and are like, I don't know if I want to do the small. It's just it's fun to witness. It's cool to watch. Like it's extremely energetic. I hope you can tell by even listening to this.
I know it's just
if you think this is energetic, you haven't seen the dude trade because when you watch him trade, it's even more shocking to think that it's more energetic here.
It is. Thinking back, there's something wrong with me.
It's something wrong with you. I'm sure I'm not a psychiatrist, but if a psychiatrist was to evaluate you, they might think you're crazy.
Top 1%, baby.
Top 1, baby. The one thing I'm kind of getting out of this whole thing too is I want to say courage. For some reason, that word jumps to mind because it's obviously money that you're playing. Not playing. I'll say playing. Maybe that's a fair assessment if we're referring to a casino and so on and so forth. So people that are getting into this, $4,000, $5,000 might be all that they have. Mm-hmm. And it takes a lot of courage to take that money, put it into something and go, all right, I'm going to invest in myself. I'm going to do it. Because let's just be quite frank with it. Like if that's all you have, it's hard to bet on yourself, especially all the factors that come into there. I guess from a courage perspective and those that are looking to do this and potentially join you on this, what's a piece of advice you can give them for them to go, you know what? Like, let's take the jump. Let's do it. Like, let's make this happen. And that you're going to be their mentor throughout this whole entire challenge from start to finish.
Mm-hmm. I think to honestly be successful, every single person knows what it takes. And what I mean by that is every single person knows to be successful, you need to put in a certain amount of work. If I show up to stock trading and I've never done it before in my life, deep down, I don't really know what I'm doing. Hopefully this works on out. If you even have that doubt in your mind, you know that you should not be trading real money. If you show up to stock trading saying, I've given this everything I've had. I've taken nights to be in the video library. I've taken notes. I've done everything I could. I've purchased these courses, whatever you want to do on the side to really just feel like you're grasping it all. Then you take that step. There has been things that I've done in my life where I say, I don't know if I'm ready for that. I don't know if I'm good enough for this. And usually it's because I've skipped steps. I've skipped certain steps that I know I shouldn't have. Same exact thing when I think about college or high school or whatever, where I say, I didn't study for this test whatsoever. I'm not going to be good. And there's times that I have studied and I said, this is going to be incredible. I think the reason why some people are successful and why some people are not successful is just coming on down to not understanding the work ethic that it really takes. You want to be a millionaire? Put in the millionaire ethic. That means showing up early, staying up late. That means putting in work. That means doing the things that no one else wants to do. That means, again, asking questions, being able to stand on out. We all want to be able to make millions of dollars, but people are scared to stand out. It's crazy. It's crazy that people are scared to post a video. It's crazy that people are scared to ask a question. It's crazy that people don't want to just be different in any way. But at the same time, they want to be able to have financial difference. You have to have that mindset. You have to have action. You have to be able to have that psychology with you where you can be able to say to yourself, I know I can be different. I know I can be able to do this, and I'm willing to put in the work. I see it all the time. People say, oh, I know I can be a stock trader. I know I can be successful. Cool. Okay. Paper trade, video library, study up, ask me questions. Hey, Deck, I just blew up my account. What? I thought you were a paper trader. I thought you were watching videos. Well, I did it for like 3 days, and I just were like, I think I can do this now. We know that's not enough. You know that's not enough. I know that's not enough. We know deep down intrinsically what is supposed to be enough to be successful. And that's what it comes on down to. You got to be able to put in the work.
Got to be able to put in the work. I like that because it's a successful mindset. It's like you said, the millionaire mindset. Kind of want to navigate a little bit. Still on the topic of the small account challenge because I feel like there's so much to unpack. I kind of want to talk about metrics for like. And what I mean by metrics is obviously you're going in there I'll just use your 4,000 to 80,000. Like that's an incredible metric to go off of. Like success in that is like, what was the success factor? Well, I turned 4,000 into 80,000. That's a pretty successful thing. What outside of that, right? Outside of a profitable margin or things like that, what are other success factors involved in there? Like, is it the education that, if I was to do this, is it the education that I'm getting from it while learning how to do it, understanding PDT, things like that? Like, what are other success factors outside of like, well, hey, I made $1,000 trade today, or hey, I made $600 today? Like, I feel like there has to be other success metrics involved there. So what do they call them? KDP or KPIs, key performance indicators. Not to bring up my corporate background, but what is the KPIs in the stock market, especially in the day trading world, that would go, okay, I might have not have traded well today, but I learned something and therefore I had a successful day.
This is another one of these key things that I've done that I think will change people's lives. And it's another thing that I tell people. 99% of people don't do it. The 1% will, just like we talked about earlier. Every single person can go right now to Google, type in OBS, be able to download OBS, Open Broadcast Software. When you download OBS, you are now going to be able to record your screen. I want you to use your webcam on your laptop, on your computer, go to Amazon, buy a $25 webcam, whatever it may be, and download OBS, connect the webcam, and record yourself trading your stocks. Talk out loud. Tell yourself, your future self, what you're doing. And every single night, rewatch that. It's incredible how much you are going to learn. People always say journal your trades, journal your stock trades, journal what you did right and wrong. I can't have feeling. I can't have emotion while I'm writing things on down. I could say, yeah, I was fucking scared, right? But it's like, that's not going to be extremely helpful. The thing is, I want to be able to watch myself. So every single night, every single day, I still do this, even 11 years down the road, where I am live recording myself. Now I'm live streaming everything, but I'm saying out loud what I'm thinking, what I'm doing. You see me execute it. You see me take my win. You see me take my loss. And if that's a great win, I can go back the next day. I can watch it and I could say, yes, I did that perfectly. But if I took a loss, now I can go back the next day when my emotions are calmed on down and I could say, hey, let me watch this. And it's humiliating. It's embarrassing to watch sometimes because you're saying, why did I make that trade? What am I doing? What am I saying? Why would I? But you're learning. You're now gauging something from it. You're taking this feedback and now you're going to become a much better trader. And that's what's so incredible about it, that every single person needs to be able to understand. Just like professional athletes. I remember when I played basketball, sometimes my coach would say, hey, Deck, that was an awesome pass. That was an awesome shot. That was an awesome dunk, whatever it may be. But the thing is, sometimes he says, Deck, that was absolutely horrendous. And it's embarrassing. And you're saying to yourself, man, I don't want to be put on the spot like that again. Let me do better. Next time we're in a game, I again drop on down. I shift to this man. I do whatever I need to do because I remember that that's what we went over. That's what I had to be successful with. So when you record yourself and you talk out loud with your trades and you tell yourself exactly what trade, why you're doing it, when you're entering, why you're entering, talk about your trade, what you're feeling, then you get out and you could say out loud, was it successful or not? Or of course you could be able to see your P&L because you're recording it. You're all set, ready to go. And now you come back later, you get to study your wins, you get to study your losses, and you become much better. Just writing things down. Hey, I bought 1,000 shares of Microsoft. I sold 1,000 shares of Microsoft and I lost 200. What type of value is that? How am I gaining anything from that? That's not anything. So you don't got to post them over on TikTok. You don't got to post these embarrassing moments over on Facebook or whatnot. The thing is, they're for you. They're there for you. You put them in a private folder, next to your OnlyFans stuff, and you could just be able to watch it. Right. So, I mean, that's it.
That's cool. No, it's cool because it allows you to, and I'm just use that Microsoft 1,000 share, you lost 200. You still lost, but the experience you gained through there, right? Like I feel like it could have been prevented. And by you understanding and learning that it could have been prevented is the overall success factor there. One more thing I kind of want to touch on before we kind of close out and kind of go into like what's new, and things like that. But risk management is huge. We talked about risk management and the importance of doing it. I know you kind of you kind of dove into what you're doing, especially in the small account world, and for new traders coming in, how to mitigate risk, so on and so forth. As someone that's traded in the past and laughs at risk, right? I know there's people that are watching this and are going to see this and go, "What do you mean laughs at risk?" Like I'm that trader, or I was that trader. I don't trade at all anymore. But I was that trader that was like, you know what? I got $1,000. Let me do it. Like I have 6 months of experience. Let me just screw the paper trade. Let me go in there and let me do it, and then turn 1,000 into 5,000, and then wake up and try to do 5,000, put that down to zero, and go, what the hell? Because I didn't mitigate risk. What is a key for you as Sean Deckmar when trading? Like I'd imagine you have your own steps or I don't know, ticks or things that you go, up, let me sit back for a second because I'm kind of getting ahead of myself here. What are the tips and the trades that you have that go, all right, maybe I need to take a deep breath, take a step back, and realize what's actually going on so that you're mitigating your own risk, that you feel more confident in trading and going about it that way.
Biggest thing to follow, 2-to-1 ratio. It's textbook, standard, that's what everyone follows. If you follow the 2-to-1 ratio, you are already going to be on a better path than majority
Expand
of people.
on that slightly for people listening.
2-to-1 ratio is you always win double of what you lose. So we always set a game plan. We say, I'm getting in at this support line. I'm going in for a breakout of this resistance. My target is for a stock to go from $5 to $6 with 1,000 shares. That would be a $1,000 profit. If I have a $1,000 profit target, that means I'm going to set a stop loss at 450. This means I'm willing to lose 500 to gain 1,000.
I see.
So if I lose 2 times in a row and I win once, I'm still back to even. So the thing is, I have friends that are stock traders that do this full time that they don't even have successful winning rates. They win 40% of the time, 35% of the time, and they do this as a full-time trader. You might say, how is that even possible? Because the thing is, they do even tighter than a 2-to-1 ratio. They'll go 3-to-1, 4-to-1, 5-to-1, where they will just put in massive amounts of money. They have quick stop losses. Loss. They hit one, 10x, you know? So the thing is, as long as you are willing to put in a stop loss, it's really difficult to blow up an account. I really don't know many traders whatsoever who have ever blown up an account by taking the smallest little paper cuts. I don't know many traders in any sort of way who've lost 100, lost 200, lost 100, lost 75, lost 100, lost 200, lost 100, and we keep going until your account's gone. That's a very rare situation. That's a very rare scenario. What's more of a common situation is lose 100, oh, I'm down in the red again. I don't want to set my stop loss. And then you end up blowing 4,000 overnight because you just got emotional. That's what usually happens. It's not paper cuts. It's maybe 1 to 2 paper cuts. And then you start getting emotional. You start getting fed up. You start getting frustrated. And then the sword comes in and it takes you all away. That's what you have to be able to avoid. Now, I got you. It's frustrating. You're talking to this guy right here. I've been in the game for 11 years. I've gone through all of it. How many times have you ever jumped into a play? It falls on down. You get out of the stock. You say, hey, you know what? I'm being a smart trader. I'm taking this loss as a lesson, not as a failure. I'm not giving up. I'm just saving my account. That's a great mindset. But then moments later, it pops right back on up and then goes on that sky high rip and run. And now you're getting frustrated. Now you're saying, I literally got out just because I'm trying to be smart and I could have made $2,000. That's what's hard. Now you're developing bad habits in your mindset. Now you're saying to yourself, hey, next time it comes on down, I'm not going to set a stop loss because I remember it goes back on up, right? That's I got out last time and the stock went on a $2,000 rip afterwards. So I'm not going to set a stop. And that's the time the stock just keeps going lower and lower and lower. So the number one thing is after you develop your strategy, we want to perfect the strategy. We want to become better. We want to be able to grow. We want to be able to be the best stock trader. And over time, you are going to figure out things that work and things that don't work. But we shouldn't ever be leaving from the fundamentals of 2-to-1. We shouldn't ever be leaving from the fundamentals of if a stock isn't working your way, get out of the play. You are not a loser because you got out of a stock. You're actually a winner because you're keeping your account. There are losers that will hold on to the play and lose everything. Stick to the fundamentals of trading. Buy at support, short at resistance. Buy calls at the bottom, do puts at the top. Have a stop loss on each side so, again, you don't have to lose. Average in on plays with a stop loss at the bottom so you have the best entry. Be willing to jump in and hold for your profits. Follow that 2-to-1 ratio. And it just comes down to, having that risk management, being willing to get on out. So I'm really want to, especially for all our listeners right now, trying to drop as many different gems as I can right here. Because I don't want you. I'm not trying to be like, oh, go buy this course or whatnot. I remember when I first started stock trading, literally no one gave me answers. It was so difficult to find answers when you're a beginner in the stock trader. You guys tell me everywhere you go on TikTok, hey, how do I become a stock trader? Oh, well, I got a $4,000 course. Go ahead and buy it. Hey, can you just teach me how to be able to be successful? Oh, well, here's a $10,000 course on that strategy. I just wanted answers. That's it. So I'm not trying to hide anything in this podcast in any sort of way. Yes, I live stream. Yes, we have a membership. Yes, we have a chat room and all that. But you don't have to go out and buy a $10,000 course to be a successful stock trader. Ask questions. Ask me questions. Drop comments below. Whatever it may be, I can literally just give you the answer. You don't got to, again, go out and spend tons of money to have direct answers. And I don't feel like, that's the right way to be able to teach. So I really hope just being able to listen to all this has been, very valuable for you and for everyone here that's listening.
It's always valuable for me. I think you know that too. I love seeing, I love that you brought up the whole oh, you want an answer? Pay $4,000 for a course because especially, and that's 2024. It's like every single where you turn, there's a quote unquote TikTok stock trader millionaire popping up out of the woodwork. And they're not showing P&Ls. They're not showing their track record. They're just like, I made one good trade one day. I put 10 grand into a stock and made 80 grand, and now you should buy my. You're not like that, and I think it's cool, especially for the people that's been with you since you said 11 years.
Yeah. No, I'm not.
Holy
I just get a little fired on up. Like, I'm not trying to throw shade in any sort of way.
No. I'll throw the shade.
No,
You
but
don't have to
it
throw the
just comes
shade.
on down to it gets a little frustrating. You're like where
annoying.
you go on Twitter and it's just, hey, I just turned $10 into $10 million in 30 seconds, and then it has like 5,000 comments of people being like, "Oh, that was so nice of you," and it's like, did you show anything? Is there a P&L? Is there anything?
Yeah,
and it's just like it's nothing.
It's BS. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
I still can't believe 11 years. I still remember being in Bloomsburg, having the first conversation about it. Wow. Well, before we go, anything you want to say to the people out there? Anything you want to say to your viewership? I always love picking your brain and talking to you about it, but our conversations are vastly different than what you're having on a day-to-day basis with these people. So, anything you want to say to them, as we're getting ready for this small account challenge?
I'll just let every single person know we're starting up on October 14th on tradecaster.com. So I'm inviting every single person. I don't care who you are. I don't care how experienced you are. If you're a brand new beginner, I want to be able to inspire you. I want to be able to motivate you. I want to be able to bring value to you. And I really want to be the mentor that I wish I had when I first started. So that's the guarantee that I can bring, that I'm going to do everything I can in my power to make you a better trader. And I'm looking forward to working with every single person. So that's going to be on tradecaster.com October 14th. And I'm pretty fired up. It's like my Super Bowl, getting the small account challenge going.
I love seeing you do it. And we'll put the names of I know you said Lightspeed, Fox Runner. We'll put everything in the show notes so people can just see it. It's always good to have the best tools in the business. So
Oh, yeah.
We'll keep that on track. Well, dude, thank you so much for coming. I always love interviewing you. Looking forward to the next one. I love you, buddy.
Thank you.
Absolutely.